This is 9 News.
Oh, it was a wild night for Denver police after they nabbed some robbery suspects who crashed into a tree and cleaning up abandoned cars from that ice storm. And now the blame game begins in Atlanta.
And the Broncos would not have it any other way. In full pads, outdoors, getting ready for the Super Bowl and the big date with Seattle. I'm Greg Moss, along with Kyle Dyer. Our Super Bowl coverage with Gary and Corey will be coming up in just a few minutes. But we've got to talk about our weather situation because it is changing pretty rapidly. Becky is standing by. Becky, a lot of rain and wind. I actually had some raindrops coming in this morning.
Yep, and I'm going to show you that on radar as a very small area of rain moves right through the metro area earlier this morning. That band is now through. We still have some wind gusts out here as a storm system continues to build across Colorado. But for now, dry conditions out at DIA with partly cloudy skies. Here's a look at what's going on across the state. You can see the snow through our foothills up to the high country, stretching all the way out to the western slope. Let's zoom in and take a look at that band of rain that moved through. Temperatures actually some of the warmest, and there it goes, that we are going to see today happening this morning. So that supported rain development out across the Front Range. That is now through, and as a cold front moves into the area, we may not even get back up into the middle and upper 40s later on this afternoon. In fact, snow is going to be developing late this afternoon. There's your winter storm watch that does cover Denver, Fort Collins, and Greeley. We are looking at anywhere between 3 and 5 inches of snow here in the city, but right now dry and not too cold. 39 degrees right now in Denver. It is 40 up in Greeley, 38 for Lyman. Colorado Springs sits at 51. Today at noon, we're going to climb back up to about 42, 44 at 3, breezy. And then this afternoon and into this evening, you'll see some heavy bands of snow move across the Front Range as temperatures dip back into the 30s. Danielle and I are going to be talking much more about those heavy bands and timing the whole thing out for you in more detail coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. 3 men are in custody after leading police on a wild chase in Denver overnight. Police say the men are suspects in several street robberies or carjackings. And officers started chasing the white Chevy on South Federal around 12:30 this morning. The driver, though, lost control while he was turning west onto 20th and crashed into a tree. 2 of the suspects had minor injuries. They were taken by ambulance to Denver Health. The other man was taken to jail. Federal and 20th were blocked off for a while officers were out there on the scene. And police are still investigating and say that charges against the men are pending. A bill that would extend bar closing times in Colorado is moving ahead now at the legislature. It's now headed for full debate in the House. It would give Denver and other cities the option to extend drinking hours to as late or as early as 4:30 in the morning. The measure is aimed in part at cutting violence that's been connected with 2 a.m. closing times in Lodo, and the bars have emptied out.
Colorado's largest teachers union is now challenging the firings of about 100 Denver teachers and the Colorado law that allowed it to happen. The Colorado Education Association says the law is unfair because it lets school districts to place experienced teachers on unpaid leave even though they have good evaluations. A big fire is burning in Elizabeth, New Jersey right now. This 4-alarm fire broke out at a business and has quickly spread to others. Eyewitnesses say it has spread to at least an entire row of stores there in that area. It's a massive emergency response. As you can see, so far no injuries are being reported. National Guard helping out Atlanta clear thousands of abandoned vehicles from that snow and ice storm that paralyzed the city and leaving a lot of commuters and school kids stranded over the last couple of days. Georgia's governor now blaming forecasters, say they did not give enough warning of what was to come. The forecasters say they did.
All right, while you were asleep, Missouri executed a man who was convicted of murdering a jeweler in a 1991 robbery. The death of Herbert Smalls marked the state's 3rd lethal injection in 3 months. It came after the Supreme Court denied last-minute requests to save his life. In New York, friends and family paid their respects to the 8-year-old boy who died after saving 6 relatives in a fire. Tyler Dewan was honored with a firefighter's funeral at St. John of Rochester Catholic Church, and they complete with dress uniforms and bagpipers. His family was also presented with a special fire helmet you just saw. saw that had Tyler's name on it.
New trouble for Justin Bieber. He is now being charged with assaulting a limo driver in Toronto. Police say it happened in late December when Bieber was visiting the city to attend a Toronto Maple Leafs game. They say the pop star hit the driver several times in the back of his head. Bieber's set to appear in court next month. Let's head to New Jersey now, where Gary and Corey have the latest from Super Bowl 48. Both teams getting full practices in, right, guys?
They are. We're just devastated by the Justin Bieber news, though.
Oh, jeez. Never ending, right?
Hey, we got a new member of the team. Did you notice?
Check him out.
Yeah, on the set. Peyton's joining us today. Still early. He's a little quiet, but we'll see if he says anything later today. Yeah, they got in a full practice for the first time since they've actually been in New Jersey yesterday. They got their reps on the synthetic turf. They're over at the Jets practice complex. And they were in the outdoor fields yesterday at the training facility. It was pretty cold yesterday. By the end of practice, the temperature dropped to 21 degrees. But Broncos coach John Fox said it was great. He said it was proof that his team is weatherproof. Fox opted not to use the indoor field over there, saying that he wanted his players in the same kind of conditions that they are likely to face at MetLife Stadium on Sunday. Although on Sunday, I think it's going to be a little bit warmer than that. So that would be good. The Seahawks, well, they stayed inside at the New York Giants team facility, though they opened the doors midway through the practice to simulate temperatures.
Oh,
midway through the
nice.
practice. Wuss. Just saying. Everybody took part except running back Marshawn Lynch, who got his usual Wednesday off, something that they have allowed him to do for most of the season.
Right. On Broadway last night, the official Super Bowl numerals were revealed in Times Square. New York's mayor, governor, and the NFL commissioner were all there. The mayor thanked the league for what he called the guts and vision to bring the Super Bowl to the Northeast and to an outdoor stadium. Entertainment included the Boys Choir of Harlem and other performers. Now, we'll hear from two of the musicians later today taking part in the Super Bowl. Opera singer Renee Fleming will be singing the national anthem. She'll be holding a news conference later in the day. She won't be alone. The New Jersey Symphony Orchestra will provide a recorded version of the Star-Spangled Banner. She will be the first opera singer to perform the national anthem before Super Bowl. It's pretty neat.
Very nice.
We'll also be hearing from Bruno Mars later today. He'll be performing the halftime show with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The 27-year-old and Grammy winner will probably be talking about the cold weather expected during the game at today's news conference. No word on what he'll perform, but we did hear that some audience members will have hats that will light up in sync with the concert.
That's kind of cool.
It is.
It's kind of different. Yeah, all right. It has now been confirmed that both Governor John Hickenlooper and Mayor Michael Hancock will be at Sunday's game. The mayor's office says private funds will be paying for both the mayor and his immediate family, including his mother, Charlene. And the governor is picking up his own tab, including that of his son, Teddy. So Teddy's getting to go to the big game. Denver police are also finishing up their planning for Super Bowl Sunday. You know, they are expecting a victory, as are the rest of us. They want to make sure fan celebrations don't get out of hand. Taronda Thomas has more on that.
Gary, just like a lot of fans, police are thinking ahead to a Super Bowl win for the Broncos, and that means boosting security on the streets of Denver so nothing like this happens again. Now, this was in 1999 after the Broncos won the Super Bowl. Some celebrated by rioting. Denver police say they will have every available officer out on Sunday. That includes in and out of restaurants and bars. Police have been working with bar owners, urging them to prepare for the worst case scenario. They are telling those bars to chain down their furniture and to serve drinks out of cans and plastic cups instead of glass bottles. But it's not all doom and gloom. Denver police and bar managers say they are optimistic about Sunday, Corey, since the AFC Championship game went so smoothly.
It sure did. All right, Taronda, thank you. Real quick, we do want to mention again and remind you that the Today Show will be in Denver tomorrow. Again, they're holding that prep rally at the Tavern downtown. If you want to end up on the Today Show, you need to show up between 4 and 4:30 a.m. to have a chance to be one of the 1,500 fans that will get inside. The Broncos fans that show up need to be super spirited, decked out in orange, right? Because it's a contest with the Seattle Seahawks fans to see who can cheer loudest and longest, and I know we can win.
Absolutely. Be loud and proud, that's for sure. And we can now announce our Orange Office winners. You remember this little giveaway contest we had last week. So 9 News, Channel 20, blue and orange gloves are the prize, and they go to the best local offices who went all out to show their spirit. Well, the Health One Saddle Rock ER made the list. This community emergency room located at the Medical Center of Aurora. They are clearly blue and orange Bronco maniacs through and through.
Congrats to them. Well, congrats to other winners, the American Cancer Society of Denver, Path 21 Architecture, Global Gate Controls, Golder Associates, CH2M Hill AP Team, the City of Denver Traffic Engineering Services, United Power, Gallego Sanitation, and the Larimer County Assessor's Office. Your gloves are on the way.
Lots of people in the Broncos spirit, that's for sure. We've got more time to ride, Broncos window clings to give out. This morning we'll be at the King Superstore in South Yosemite in Greenwood Village. We're going to start that at 6 o'clock. We'll give one per customer until we run out. And I know a lot of people will be there because everybody's in the spirit.
Oh, yes.
Seen more and more window clings here in New York.
Boy, are we ever,
Yeah.
everywhere we go.
Yeah, we're
That's
just
so
running
funny.
into them. It's really wild. I don't know how they get here. All right, that's it for now, but next hour we'll be back with you, and so will Peyton.
Okay, are you seeing them on other cars? Where are you seeing them?
Not on cars, just on windows. I actually saw one at a bar the other day that I walked by.
You
I
walked
don't know.
by?
I don't know how they get there.
We got to
Yeah.
find out
We
where
got
the
to
black
carry
market
them
is.
around and just put them on like taxis and stuff. That would be great.
That would
All
be
right.
great. We should start putting them on taxis. That'd be
All right.
funny.
Thanks, guys. We'll check back with you.
See, guys, so how's that windshield wiper washer fluid going? Well, you're going to need some before this time tomorrow.
A lot of it,
Yeah.
probably.
Good morning, everybody. Here's a live look out towards the Denver metro area, where currently we are seeing partly cloudy skies. A little bit of rain moved right on through earlier this morning, and now we are seeing some dry conditions settle in before the snow arrives. We're going to time all of that out for you coming up here in just a minute. Right now, those temperatures sit at 39 degrees. Out at DIA, it is also 39 for Greeley. Some of the warmest temperatures that we will see throughout today coming this morning. We're going to have a hard time climbing back up into those lower to middle 40s this afternoon. 38 Lyman, 25 for Leadville. It's 30 up around Eagle. And here's the snow. We do have it falling all across locations in our foothills, stretching from about Evergreen right on up through Winter Park. It continues all the way out to the western slope, and we've got some heavy snow headed up to the mountains. It will be continuing through the day. 4 o'clock this afternoon, we might see a little bit of rain before 6 o'clock arrives, and that's all taken over by snow from Denver up through Fort Collins and Greeley. That will continue to fall all the way into the overnight before we hit tomorrow morning, and we see it taper off just a little bit. We may be measuring the snow up in the high country in feet thanks to winter storm warnings and heavy snow that's pushing through here in the Denver metro area. We're going to be in the 3 to 5 inch range. Some locations up to our north, like near Greeley, could see a little bit more than 6 inches of snow. Meanwhile, middle 40s for us today. We do get a lot colder, Danielle, through the rest of the week.
We sure do, Becky. I have that extended day forecast, but in the meantime, I want to show you kind of what's going on across most of the country. For now, we are tracking some snow showers pulling in through the Minneapolis area. Those are going to continue to further spread off to the east, producing a little bit of lake effect snow too. Also, some great news for friends in California as they're finally getting a little bit of precipitation pushing through. Some rain showers tracking through San Fran into Sacramento, and then finally, once it hits those mountains up toward Lake Tahoe, they're looking at some snowfall. That's spreading into Nevada. It is great news as they have been looking at just a terrible drought over the past several months. Look at this. We have winter weather advisories stretching out for them, as well as warnings. High wind warnings also extend out towards Southern California too. So I know they do have some wild weather, but I know a lot of folks rejoicing at all that moisture. As far as daytime highs go, once again, it's going to be cool for our neighbors up to the north. Bismarck at 6 for a daytime high, 21 in Minneapolis, low 60s in Dallas, mid 40s for us, and the 50s and 60s continue across much of the west coast. So this evening, we will cool off down about 17 degrees. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the snowfall continues, 27. A little bit cooler on Saturday. That snowfall continues for the early morning, and then we'll see some clearing going on. It's going to be cold for Super Bowl Sunday, and then as we head toward Monday and Tuesday, they both look dry, but both look pretty chilly.
Becky, thank you. It's 4:45 right now on this Thursday's Bears and Trash. It's a never-ending problem in Colorado, especially in Boulder. But the city is trying out a new kind of bear-resistant trash can as a possible fix. 9 News reporter Colleen Ferreira joins us now live in Boulder with more.
Good morning, Kyle. You know, the whole purpose of this is to secure food from bears and secure that curbside compost from bears as well. Take a look right here in Boulder. We found one of these bear-resistant garbage cans here at 6th and Pleasant this morning, and we have a whole bunch of other pictures for you, too. Take a look. The city of Boulder is looking at requiring these type of cans in Zone 1. That means south of Wonderland Lake, west of Broadway, and north of Greenbrier. They want to implement this policy this spring if the policy is passed when they have that vote in March. But why? Well, we all know bears become reliant on human-generated food. They become used to humans, then they lose their fear of humans, spend more time in town. That increases their risk of mortality. Here in Boulder, in 2013, last year, 3 bears were killed by cars, 4 by Colorado Parks and Wildlife because of public safety concerns. We're taking a look at a bear-resistant garbage can. What is this? It looks like a normal garbage can, right? Well, coming up at 5:30, we're going to explain to you why these cans can actually protect an entire neighborhood from bears. Greg.
Okay, Colleen, thanks so much. Finding it hard to unplug from the office? You are not alone. Welcome to the new world of binge working.
Oh, man.
2, 1.
Watch. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
First one's the trickiest one. We could just do a beatboxing. Everyone knows the Tonight Show. Yeah, we got it.
The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon starts February 17th on 9 News.
What's 9 News at 10?
What's 9 News at 10?
For the first time in 13 years, all 8 of the industries tracked by local economic development folks are up. The Metro Denver Economic Development Corporation has released the 2013 final results that it tracks. Job growth in aerospace, aviation, bioscience, broadcasting and telecom, energy, financial services, healthcare, and IT all did well. Here are some of the study highlights, though, from our partners at the Business Journal. Our region ranks first now among the 50 biggest metro areas for private aerospace employment. Pharmaceuticals and bioscience companies expanded for the second consecutive year. 5 of the 8 clusters that I just mentioned ended drops in the number of jobs that have lasted more than 5 years. So it's a good little rebound. Facebook's growth might be slowing a little bit, but it keeps finding new ways to make money off its users. The social network reports its latest sales and profits beat Wall Street expectations, and the stock is on fire, up 8% so far in after-hours trading. Facebook's user base grew to 1.2 billion people in the 4th quarter. That's up about 16% from a year ago. That's a big number. Still fewer new users than in past quarters. Nevertheless, Facebook sales up 63% from the same time last year. By the way, Facebook will turn 10 on Tuesday. You may remember a day when after work you'd go home, unplug, not have to worry about a thing until the next day. Not anymore. Work is in your hand 24/7. Tech reporter Bob Sullivan writes extensively about our changing work habits.
The data show there's about a third of heart disease could be related to stress, and that chronic overwork could be about a doubling of your risk for heart disease. So it really does add up to implications for heart disease.
Yeah, stress experts like that say it's never been more important to set limits, deciding when to turn off the email and cell phone to carve out personal and family time.
It took about 200 years for unions to get us a 40-hour work week, and it took smartphones about 5 years to completely take them away.
Yeah, it is amazing change. Working so many more hours means Americans now work almost 5 additional weeks every year than they did back in 1979. 35% of Americans now work on weekends, and we're sleeping less, too. According to the CDC, a third of adults now get 6 hours or less each night. And as you just heard from that doctor a minute ago, that can really lead to big health problems.
Thank you for reminding us. Oh, gosh.
Especially on this shift, we're always reminded of.
You know what? I love music, and that's what gets me going every day. Katy Perry's Dark Horse is now a hit. The pop star's latest single tops the Billboard Hot 100, marking Perry's 9th #1 track. You might have seen her at the Grammy Awards performing this song with rapper Juicy J. The song comes, of course, after the big success of Roar.
I like
And
Juicy.
Unconditionally. It's a good album.
Juicy J.
Have you heard that song on the radio yet? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I love Roar, though.
He has played 15 NFL seasons and never made the Super Bowl until now. The Broncos want to win this one for champ.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday today. A little bit cooler than yesterday as daytime highs will be in the mid-40s here in the city. Up and down the Front Range, a similar story with 20s and 30s for foothills and up into the high country areas. We're tracking snowfall out there, a slew of winter weather watches, advisories, and warnings. We'll be detailing that, talking about how much snowfall we could see down here in the city coming up. In the meantime, Amelia, what do you got cooking over there?
Good morning, Danielle. Quiet start today. We're going to see sunrise at 7:09, but the clouds are going to help out greatly with our sun glare. And check it out, snow coming down pretty hard up in Vail. It's going to be a tough drive across the city, especially into this afternoon with the arrival of snow. But right now, we're tracking some light rain, especially across 25 down south in the Denver Tech Center.
All right, thank you, Amelia, and good morning. We are live in Jersey City. We're ready for a second straight day of practicing for both the Broncos and the Seahawks. Yesterday, the Broncos practiced outside at the Jets facility to simulate what's going to happen on Sunday. The Seahawks, meanwhile, indoors at the Giants facility, but they did open 5 doors so the cold air could get in there. But you know what? It's not going to be that bad on Sunday evening. As of today, they're saying the forecast kickoff temperature will be 42 degrees. That's not so bad, is it? Hey, here's a little crazy fact for you. Did you know 4 of the big names in this game are middle children? That includes Champ Bailey, as well as Seattle Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman, and also both quarterbacks Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson are middle kiddos. They got it pretty good. They do have no complaining about their siblings. It's Super Bowl week. There's lots of useless information out there. Anyway, back to Champ. Perhaps you have heard about his teammate Mike Adams, who says he plans to walk 10 miles to his hometown in Jersey if Denver wins on Sunday.
I can tell you this, I haven't thought about walking with him. I know that. I'm definitely not doing that. But no, I haven't. You know, I'm just kind of taking it in stride. I'm not trying to make any plans about what I'm going to do. Just let everything just come naturally, natural reaction. I don't know what it feel like. Win or lose, I don't know.
He's not walking back with Mike. That's funny. Hey, just like yesterday, the teams will have press conferences today before heading out to practice. The Broncos, again, will head right over here across our pier to the 3-story boat where they did the press conferences yesterday. And the water was pretty rough yesterday. It was rocking while those guys were out there. So we have Peyton on stable ground right now, but we'll see how it goes when the press conferences begin about 6 o'clock later on. So, you know, we'll keep it nice and steady here inside the hotel. We'll be right back. More coming up from Jersey, and also last part of 9 News of 4:30.
Piece of interesting car history. You're looking at the first Porsche ever built. This is the P1, and it's more than 100 years old, built by Ferdinand Porsche himself in 1898, and was ahead of its time. All electric. It's on display right now at a special museum in Germany after being discovered in an old shed in Austria, where apparently it had been sitting since 1902. It's worth a ton, too. Very rare. Kind of cool to see, though.
Yeah, it is.
That is all for 9 News at 4:30. 9 News at 5 a.m. Just minutes away. We got lots more news, weather, and, of course, sports. Stay with us.